Yo, welcome back to the Cool Reviews. And today, we started a new show called the Hulk Banner Show with your boy, the Cool Reviews and the Hulk. What's Hey, we about to do some things on this one right here. Man, Hulk, how you been?
I've been blessed, brother. I can't complain, man. Just taking it day by day. You know how we doing.
All right. Shoot, man. I got to do it one time for the got to do it for the Hulk, man. Man, Hulk, man, we gonna jump right into it, man. Tell him a little bit about who you are.
Well, for people who know me, you guys have probably seen me with CT Fletcher. Hulk Smash Part One, Hulk Smash Part Two. One of the strongest people in the world. Physically blessed, mentally, emotionally blessed. Um, Father, beautiful little girl, Kasaya, my angel, my world. Personal trainer. Uh, Physical therapist, whatever you want to call it, all that good shit. All that shit.
All that good stuff right there, man. So, just a little backstory. I'm at the gym and I finished a workout. I hit the locker room and I hear somebody say, "You still single?" I'm like, "Huh?" Probably good at it, and I'm like, it didn't even register at first. Then I'm just like, oh, okay. And it was the hope. Like, how did you even like figure you just noticed me off the muscle?
Mm, mm. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, bro. So we at the gym, right?
Yeah.
And I remember somebody had put me on to it, pop the balloon. I'm sitting there watching pop the balloon. And it's crazy because I watched all these different episodes, but these certain types of females had this. Like every guy before you on the show,
Yeah.
every woman that was there was still like, damn, nobody ain't finding the match. Nobody ain't liking nobody. Nobody's not attracted to anybody that come on to the show.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, this one dude come on. Nobody pops their balloons. The whole panel, like everybody got balloons. So I'm like, all right, cool. Let's see where this is going. Tall, ball, got the beard, swag game, Louis Vuitton, all that good stuff.
For sure. For
You know what I'm
sure.
saying? So I'm like, all right, let's see what happens. So first thing first, I noticed that out of all the women I would have actually picked, because y'all know me, you know how I like them. I ain't gonna, I ain't gotta repeat myself, but
Oh, okay. Hey.
happy birthday to you. If it ain't like bright, all the way white. That's
Okay.
me. That's me.
Okay.
That's my shit. But
All right.
I found it very intriguing that out of all the women on the panel, you actually eliminated all the light skinned women from the jump. You completely eliminated them. Wasn't even a factor. See, I'm like, all right, cool. So this dude, like, nobody's popping their balloons. He basically has control of the whole. Everybody's interested. So let me see what's really going on, right? Because I'm very intrigued by it. So, man, you get rid of all the light skinned chicks, and then you start, speaking of your standards.
Yeah.
And for some odd, strange reason, every woman in there, only one woman, she popped the balloon. Not because she wasn't interested, she didn't felt she actually met your standards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, man, you go through the motion, you pop the balloons, the ones you choose, you have to, bring it down to two. You get down to two, and you bring up this question. Basically, the question of, if we go to the club,
yeah.
and that juvenile back that ass up song come on, like, what's gonna be your reaction?
Yeah.
And we're nothing like one chick, she plays the little church holy roly situation. I'm like, all right, cool, The other chick was like, shit, depending on where you at, I'm gonna put it on you. I'm gonna bag it. I'm like, all right, cool.
Hey.
Now, keep in mind, these two selections wouldn't particularly be my selections, but these were your selections.
Yeah.
Then you and the chick that's finally at the end when you pop, the balloon. You got one chick left.
Yeah.
You guys go to the front. I'm like, wow, love the body. I thought I was the only one. I had just watched the movie Wizard of Oz, but I was the only person that thought this chick did look like the Wicked Witch of the East and the West. But I didn't want to say. I'm like, all right, maybe that's his preference. That's what he liked.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Merry Christmas to him. So you get to the thing, you know what I'm saying? You guys are there. She still got her balloon in her hand. She waving. She just know y'all about to go on the date. And all of a sudden, out the blue, you ask her a question. You know what I'm saying? You got any kids? She's like, yeah.
Right.
Then you ask her, you ever been married? She's like, no. And then you say, oh, no. And we said, I'm like, hold on, what you mean? Oh, no. You know, I seen her getting her feelings before you even say, she just pop up balloon. And you hit her with that line.
Man.
Probably the most legendary line in pop the balloon history ever. When you sit down and tell somebody, you know, like, still single? She was what, 40?
30, 38.
Basically, almost 40, still single. Maybe she. I can't even put it the way how you put it, bro. It was just different the way how you put it. You're like, you know what I'm saying? You've been single this long. Basically, you're good at it. Might as well keep it up. Like, I'm like, the fuck did you just tell this woman? Like, he ain't, like, did he just. And it was crazy because you basically spoke her truth.
Got him!
Crazy that you even do some shit like that, bro. Like, damn, he just hit her with that. Like, damn, really?
Yeah.
So I keep in mind my background. Like, before I started any of the, you know, people see me working out and doing all these YouTube motivational and inspiring videos. I used to be a stripper.
Oh, a stripper.
Yeah, I used to be a stripper, bro. We used to shout out Full Eclipse Entertainment. Shout out Nubian Fantasies back in the day, you know, Dallas, Texas. And basically, keep in mind when you're a male entertainer, stripper, whatever you want to call it, it's crazy because you basically have a room full of women.
Okay.
Now, I want you to keep in mind these women actually pay money to come, first of all, come and see you. In the process of paying money to come and see you, the next best thing is they got to go get money to give it to you.
Yeah.
But you know, a lot of the OGs, when I first started, they taught me, they said, it's not the money you see, it's the money that you don't see.
Yeah.
So I got an opportunity I was, 21 years old. I got an opportunity to see myself. And I remember one time I went to LeBare's when LeBare's like early 2000s, when I walked in LeBare's, this older white lady, she had spoke to me. She was like, she said, son, can I ask you something? She said, what kind of shoes are those? I said, oh, I got some Jordans and kind of jeans are those. I think I had on, I forgot what kind of jeans I had on. Some nice, expensive jeans. Had a nice little Gucci watch and, you know, Gucci. I think I had on some Gucci. Whatever I had on. Gucci.
Okay.
She said, can I ask you something? She said, you know, when you come in this club, we actually pay you to take all that stuff off.
Okay.
She said, think about it like this. If you went to jail, they said, we need you. They're going to take your shoes. They're going to take your watch. They're going to take your clothes. They're going to take everything. Earrings, all that got to come. No, we want you.
Okay.
So she said the one thing that we could never take away is that flat stomach or that six pack or that hard, or them hard, you know, them right there. Y'all can't really see them.
Yeah.
Microphone, you know, excuse the shirt, it's too damn tight. Yeah, but we can't take away the 23 inches. We can't take away the big chest, you know, the nice, you know, legs and the nice, you know what I'm saying, abdominals. We can't take that away. And I actually learned the value of a man actually doing what I was doing. And I actually was just doing just to get the money because I had a tattoo shop. I was trying to pay them damn bills every month. But it was crazy how seeing you in that position, it made me look at that show in a completely different way. So like I said, everybody before that point, everybody up until that point literally was like, damn, they denied all these myths, all the pettiest reasons you want to know.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, shit, like, nobody's perfect. So even if you meet the person you think you like, once you get one-on-one with that person, once y'all spend any time together, that shit's gonna probably go south. Because if you're going off of what you see or what you think, rather than what you could get to know,
Yeah.
that shit ain't gonna work. But yeah, that's how we kind of hooked it up, and ever since then, man, just
Man, it's been off the chain ever since. You know, and it just, you know, chopping it up with you, man. We've had a lot of conversations, man. Like a lot of deep conversations, you know, and we've talked about life. And, you know, one of the things that I think don't get discussed a lot is men's mental health. How our everyday life is navigating as men. You know, there's a lot of things we could talk about right now, Uh, but I think one thing that I want us to do is just be a show where we just keep it 100. We're gonna keep it funky. I'm gonna for sure keep it entertaining, but we gotta just keep it 100. You know, we both fathers. You know what I'm saying? And we are fathers first. You know, and it's something that we both enjoy doing and we like doing. But at the same time, we still gotta go out in this world and present as strong, powerful black men because there's always obstacles and stuff we got to go through. But Smash, you know what? Let me ask, when people see you out on the streets, out and about in your everyday life, usually what's the first thing that comes to their mind or they say when they see you?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't. When I walk the street every day,
Uh huh.
come out of my house, only two reactions I'm gonna get. Either I'm gonna get respect or fear.
Okay.
Either or. When you 300 pounds of muscle, when you can bench press, take 500 pounds, just hold it in your hand for almost a minute and a half. 9 times out of 10, just for people, just from the outlook, just from the actual outer shell, people naturally either respect you
Okay.
or they fear you for what you can do to them.
Okay.
So that's my normal reaction when I walk out every day.
What so like, you know, what's one thing that really like if there's one thing you could say that really fuels you as a man, what would be that one thing that really just fuels the Hulk?
At this point in life, like as of right now, I'm in my 40s.
Okay.
I think the one thing that fuels me is my self awareness. I think the control, having control, or letting God control me at this point. I wake up every day and I always feel like I'm in control.
Okay.
Like I don't really care to have an opinion, and that's one thing you probably gonna love about me. However, when people come to me and they tell me how they feel, I respect. Because like I said, either you gonna respect the person you don't know, or you gonna fear them. So I either respect how they feel, or I just let it be. You know what I'm saying? Like that's pretty much my only option. Pretty much when I deal with people, because I try not to dictate off how I feel about other people and what they do. You like chocolate, you like chocolate. You like light skin, you like light skin. I mean, that's your thing. I like what I like. I remember one time, where I'm from, people, they criticize people that smoke. You know what I'm saying? They criticize people that drink. But I've seen guys where I come from, if that guy didn't smoke that cigarette, when he had that altercation, somebody would have probably got killed that day.
Yeah.
So I respect, regardless of the fact, but at this point in my life where I'm at, from a mental and emotional standpoint, I like the fact this right here, see that control.
Yeah.
I like the fact that God has given me the ability to control everything that I have going on in my life.
Man, that's dope. You know, and for me, like, you know, I always try to look at like how, hey, what's good, what's good. I always try to look at like how can men uplift each other.
Right,
So I'm a Kevin Samuels fan,
right.
and a lot of people give Red Pill a bad name, but Red Pill, t- at its core, is men helping each other,
Right.
men building themselves up to be the best version of themselves possible. The reason why I get a bad rap, and one thing us men have to learn is once you've done the work to build yourself up to be the best man you can be, then you understand that you're not going to be slumming it up at the bottom. You're going to have standards, you're going to have requirements. And a lot of people don't like it. The man gets to a certain level and he has standards and requirements because everybody aren't going to meet your standards and your requirements. And you know, uh with me, I just feel like, you know, every man should have a purpose for one. Every man should have goals. You should have a purpose. And when you start achieving your goals, when you start living in your purpose, you're gonna find out like life actually gets better. A lot of people are struggling in life because they don't have a purpose. They just here. They don't have a path to success. They just here. You know, it life ain't about chasing pussy. Getting money ain't about being able to buy pussy. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what a lot of guys they also lose out. They think if I get money and then I get women, it's gonna make my life easy. And it don't work like that. You gotta have a purpose in life. You gotta have goals, you know, and I feel like that's where you get a lot of your fulfillment as an individual. I won't even say as a man, but it's as a human being when you can actually your goals and you know what I'm saying, like achieve and actually accomplish something.
Okay, let me give you this.
Okay.
I walk outside my door on a day-to-day basis. I see a lot of young men, and people ask me. A lot of my close people say, "Why don't you stop and talk to these young men?" And I always tell them, I say, because of the fact that I don't feel like there's anything that I can say to help them change, or anything that I can do. The only thing that I know that would help that helped me was be an example myself. You know, the way I carried myself, the way how I looked, the way I smelled, the way I dressed, the way I walked, the way I talked. I feel like the best thing I can do for my community, the best thing I can do for this world is be the best example of me. I think a lot of people when they see these people working out, they go, "Hey, I can't lift what that dude can lift." I'm not that. I'm probably not never going to be that big. I'm never probably going to be, but it has nothing to do with that. I'm probably never going to be as smart as you. I'm
Okay.
not never going to be as fast as you. You know what I mean? It's a lot of things, a lot of qualities, but instead of focusing on the outside, I always try to focus on working on the inside. Because once again, if I'm being that example, how many young men can see me, whether I'm at the school, whether I'm at the hospital, whether I'm at the church, wherever I go, they see me moving, they see how I roll, they're like, "Damn, bro, I want to be like that." That's how I grew up. A
Yeah.
lot of people when I grew up, not a minute I seen like a minute that was on top of their game, they didn't go out there and really talk to you. They just handled their business. Therefore, that was the example. You seen the standard, you know, how to handle business.
Okay.
My stepdaddy Tyrone, you know, man, he passed away in 2015, and it was crazy because me and Tyrone had some talks, but we never really had like a serious one on one. What I learned from Tyrone, it was crazy because at his funeral, I wanted to say something. I never got a chance to say. I should have said something. I probably should have, but I damn sure didn't. Just thinking about it, I wish I would have. But the fact that I couldn't say it in real life is probably the reason why I didn't say it when he was, he was gone.
Okay.
But it was crazy. I watched this man get up. I watched first of all, he was locked up back in the day, and before he met my mom, he was known. You know, he went to jail for murder.
Okay.
Came home, got his life together, learned the trade while he was in jail. Smoked cigarettes, drank his little beer or whatever he used to drink and whatnot. And it was crazy because I watched this man literally sit there and basically like do a lot of shit that was just like on some real man, like the example how he went to work every day, how he treated my mom, how he handled it, how he dressed, type of vehicles and everything, how he kept his vehicle clean, kept himself clean, smelling good, looking good. All those things I seen done with this man, it was an example of, damn man, if I want a woman to respect me and treat me a certain way, maybe I should carry myself and do these things. Because I was always told people treat you how you treat yourself. So when you see people acting a certain way and doing certain things, to me, it's a blessing because they're actually showing you on what to or what not to do.
Okay. Man, that and even like, when we talk about, being a man, I think, us as men, I gotta do it more often as well. We gotta talk to our fathers. You know, they say funerals, one thing that sucks about being a man is the only time that you're gonna hear, actually you won't hear it, but the only time that people are gonna say nice stuff about you, give you your flowers, tell you how great you were, all the great accolades, is when you can't hear it. You're dead.
Right.
You know, And that's like one of the craziest things. Like, if you really think about it, most men will die never hearing anything positive about them. But the only time these things are ever going to be said is at their funeral. The only time you're going to get your flowers is at your funeral. And the bad part is, too, bro, after that funeral is over with, they're going to go get some chicken. They're going to get something to eat. You know, depending on what type of dude you is, they're going to post some liquor. And about 3 hours later, they're going to forget all about you.
I'm gonna put it this way. I can understand that, and I agree with that. But I always feel like there's two sides to every story. When you dealing with people,
Okay.
I use my grandmother for example. Every time people talk to me, I always bring up the name Beulah, Beulah, Beulah.
Okay.
My grandma didn't have a lot. She lived in the project. She, from a rural. Everybody know you from the city in New Orleans. I know y'all heard that song, cruising down the street, real slow. What the
Yeah.
Morero. That's where I'm from. And it's crazy because like Beulah wasn't the type of person that basically had a lot, but the impact and the things she did, especially in my life, that's not a soul that I know. Even though she's been dead, this year gonna make 10 years. Not a soul that I know. Don't know who Beulah is. Don't know what time of day it is with Beulah. And it's crazy because I know me and you sitting here, we talking, like, oh man, they're gonna forget you. I think once again, it's the way how you carry yourself, it's the things that you do. Some of the things that sometimes it's like love. I feel like anybody can say I love you compared to the fact that people showing you that they love you.
Right.
When me and you talk on the phone, every time I always tell you who you are. To me, how I see you. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I don't care about opinions because I'm speaking on what I know when I deal with you. I never speak on what I think. I don't know if you ever noticed that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think this and I think that. No, I don't think anything. I don't want to think. My grandmother used to always say, "Don't tell me what you think. Tell me what you know."
Okay. Okay.
If you live life speaking on things that you know, 9 times out of 10, everything you say is going to be accurate. You won't have to go back and say I'm sorry.
Okay.
You have to go when you talk. You won't be you never hear me stalk or stutter when I'm speaking because at the same time I know the difference between talking to somebody and speaking to somebody.
Okay.
I can look you in your face right now and say, bro, I appreciate the fact that you're man enough to for whatever you went through in your past, that you're still open enough to let me come in and be a brother to you. You know what I'm saying? Let me come in and fellowship with you because nobody's perfect. You're not perfect. I'm not looking. If you find me a perfect person, get them the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with them. I don't want nothing to do with them. Because last time I checked, the only person that's been perfect on this planet, first name is Jesus, last name Christ.
Yes, sir.
Name me Lord Jesus Christ. I'm good. I don't really want that. I'm straight on that. But just the fact that, like I tell people, you don't have to be perfect, but you got to be real.
Right. Right.
I want to know real shit. If you got, maybe you really don't have something, then say you really don't have it. If you
Okay.
really do have it, that's fine. But if you speak on something, don't tell half of the story and leave out part of it. Tell a whole damn story. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like 9 times out of 10, the respect and the love. When you leave this earth, people are going to know the impact you've had on this earth because of how you carried yourself and who you are. 9 times out of 10, if that's not what you're doing, then you're right. They're gonna get a piece of chicken. They're gonna sit down and be like, anyway, so what we doing tomorrow?
If you left some money behind, they gonna fight over the money. They gonna fight over the house. You know.
Man, you know what? That's some of the realest shit I think I watch. And I didn't understand until years ago when Prince died.
Yeah. Okay.
My daddy used to love Prince, dude. My daddy used to love him some Prince. I'm like, damn, what's he like about Prince? I was a Michael Jackson fan like that. I like MJ. What's he like about Prince so much?
Yeah.
I was looking at I think when we went over this, I was looking at an interview with Prince in a City Hall.
Okay.
And in the interview, it was crazy because Prince had this thing where he was kind of like he was telling people what he didn't have.
Okay.
One of the things he mentioned, he said, "I don't have a phone. I don't have a cell phone." And he's like, "Well, how do you communicate?" He said, "Well, everybody that I know and everybody I need in my life is within arm's reach.
Okay.
So I really wouldn't need a phone to communicate and contact anybody. Everybody who I fuck with is like in my reach." And I thought to myself, it's crazy that he said that when he was alive, because when he died, you had people, fucking family member out the woodworks. People, I'm his cousin, I'm his auntie, I'm all these different people who he never spoke to. he never spoke of. You've never seen him do anything with. All these people came out, all his hard work, all his earnings and things that God had blessed him with. They just came and took it. He probably would have never even looked at it twice, but they just came and took the shit. And it was like, wow, that's what that is. So even you one of the most famous people, you done a Super Bowl, you done shit that people wish they could do. Beyond the fact that any of that, this is still what they do. Okay.
Man, it's crazy, but shoot, Prince, that dude Prince, man, say, you know, even sliding over that, this dude asked today, he was like, "Who is your favorite artist,
Right.
Prince or Michael Jackson?"
Right.
And even when it comes to Prince, if you look at Prince, he played damn near every instrument. He could sing, he could dance, play the instrument, and that nigga could hoop.
Right.
And he had all the hoes. Like, yo, how this little bitty dude that wear blouses that seem to be feminine, he get all the women.
Because he did him.
He did him.
He did him, and I think that's the problem.
Okay.
I think that's the problem with people that I see, and like I said, I'm not very opinionated. I go off of what I know. I've met men when I was a personal trainer. You get people come up to you all the time and say, "I want to be like this person. I want to get this person." I understand that people inspire you, but whatever happened to the being the best version of you? Like I'm gonna share this with you. I'm in the hospital, right? I don't know if I shared this with you, but I was in the hospital around my birthday. My birthday is March 30th. So my birthday came. I'm in the hospital with baby girl.
Okay.
One of her friends, and now keep in mind, she's in the hospital. Every child in this hospital is physically disabled.
Okay.
I'm talking about to the highest degree. I mean, just physically not 100% at all, right? And tell me how this little boy, he said, Mr. Hope, I got a present for your birthday." And I go up to the little boy. I'm like, "Hey, what's going on, man? What you got? What you got?" And he pulls this little picture thing out, right? So it's a portrait. Like he just kind of drew it out and sketched it and colored it in. And in the portrait, the little boy's Hispanic.
Okay. Okay.
So it's my daughter's friend, you know. Now, one of his arms are like it's like a nub, and his other, I think his left arm is like a nub. His right arm is like really, it's like disfigured.
Okay.
His lip, his extremities are extremely just completely like disfigured. His legs are bent. One leg is kind of like bow leg. The other leg is kind of bent out. I mean, I don't know what happened. I never talked to his mom or dad to figure out what his condition was or whatever. But he drew a picture, and in the picture, he had me green and he brown.
Okay.
He was brown, I was green, and had a picture of my daughter in a wheelchair, way in the back, looking off at us.
Wow.
And in the picture, he had muscles.
Okay.
He said, so
Okay.
he said it's crazy. So when I get out of this hospital, I'm gonna come work out with you, and then I'm gonna take your body, but you're gonna keep your body, but you're gonna just turn green because you're gonna be green now. But I'm gonna be brown like you, and we're gonna work out together. And man, it was crazy. I had to like walk away for a minute. I took the picture and I walked off for a minute. I think his mom kind of knew what my reaction would be, so she kind of started hugging him and congratulating him. It was nice. It was good. I couldn't say anything to him because in my mind, I felt like the whole time I had been coming there, I go in there with the kids and I do my Hulk smash and I do all my Hulk stuff. And it was crazy
Yeah.
because I'm just doing me, I'm just doing what I would do to make my baby smile or make other kids smile, seeing somebody, of that stature, of that size, not realizing that the whole time I was inspiring people who really need inspiration. If anybody doesn't know anything about Scottish Rite Hospital, you should look it up.
Okay.
It's a hospital for children with disfigurements. It's a hospital children with special needs, and I mean physical special needs. I mean Make a Wish Foundation, Dallas Cowboy, Dallas Mavericks, anybody. If you come in Dallas, you probably gonna have something to do with that hospital because of the circumstances of those kids that are in that hospital. And it was just crazy to sit back and watch out of all the people this little boy could have been inspired by. He actually wanted to be like me. And
Yeah.
it made me look at myself completely different. I'm not perfect, man. I've had my own personal past, but I found it very intriguing and very blessed that somebody in that particular situation looked at me as something that they can be like. So it only made me want to be a better me. It only made me want to go even harder. If I'm gonna get on that ground and do 100 push-ups, maybe I should do an extra 100. Because maybe that can help somebody I mean, looking at his body, man, he know his mom and his dad knew physically he could never look like me. He could never even get close to what I do. But his mind, his spirit was stronger than anything I could have had.
Yeah.
Because beyond the fact of how I look, I feel the way how I feel, and that to me, I adapt. He didn't realize how much he thought I motivated him. He motivated me.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I can lose everything right now,
Okay.
and I can still be stronger than anybody around me. No matter what I go through, mentally and emotionally, I'm strong enough to deal with that shit. Not run from it, but sit down head on and deal with that shit. And I've actually had that gift throughout my life. And I tell people, I'm not that damn smart. I definitely ain't that damn fast. It's a lot of things that I'm not, but one thing that I am. And the hell what you see physically, I'm spiritually and I'm emotionally and I'm mentally strong. Because yes, I've given in to the flesh, I've given in to the weak mind, but I've never been weak minded.
Okay.
I've given in to weak minded people, but I've never been weak minded. Because I always knew who I was. So when you see people walking down the street, you see people got what they got. You're like, damn, Prince had this. Prince did Prince.
Yeah.
People respected Prince because the same thing with Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels did what he felt. He did what he knew. He did what he wanted to. So as a man, even if you didn't have any guidance, you naturally looked at Kevin Samuels like, damn, I can emulate this.
Yeah.
Now, what I hoped that people would have gotten, because I watch the same videos they watch.
Yeah.
I would have hoped people took what he did and made it out of their own and twisted into their own. Because that's kind of what I did with people in my life.
Yeah.
C.T. Fletcher, one thing he always told me, he said, son, I love the fact that you always wanted to be like me, but you never wanted to be me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to me, that inspired, that really motivated me to think like that. Like, damn, he can see that. I always wanted to get the respect, the accolade, everything that he had, man. It was just like, damn, to have that type of atmosphere where people look at you and they treat you a certain way, but at the same time, I never wanted to like be him, be his life. The success that he had was his success. I wanted my own. I've never wanted nobody just to give me no shit. I always had to earn it and wanted to earn it. Yeah. I didn't feel like it was mine unless I did.
Man, and that's the thing is like it goes back to really like getting on your grind, getting on your purpose and understanding what your purpose is in life as a man. And I think that's most important. But after you get on your purpose, after you get on your grind, hey, you do gotta enjoy life. You gotta have a little fun. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You gotta like take the time to enjoy the fruit of your labor. Man, like, I'm gonna ask you this. You said you used to be a dancer.
Right.
Bro, what? Yo, can you just give me two of the craziest stories from being a dancer?
Honestly?
Yeah.
One, Yeah, we'll bring it back a little bit.
Okay, so, okay.
I'm pretty sure I have a beautiful person that's still in my life to this day. She was there for me. Had a little situation. Actually, my first show ever dancing.
Okay.
I went out. First time ever going out. Had an all white party. Went out.
Okay.
Walked to the stage. I mean, I was nervous, and it was crazy because when I came out, like this was my first show, not my first time going to the stage, my first show.
Okay.
Had bought my costume. Had back when you start dancing back in the day, we had something called the number one.
Okay.
The number one was the one that went talk to the women, and ask them what they wanted to see you wearing, and give you ideas, and bring you to. We went to Harry Hines, bought the material, that we needed to dress in, the boot covers, everything. That we went to homeboy of mine. He was a dancer. He was the one that actually got me into it. Shout out to Mr. Seduction.
Okay.
AKA Ken, you know who you is.
Okay.
To you. But yeah, it just basically took me to Common Sense.
Okay, yeah.
New Fine Arts. Help me buy my first penis pump. Help me buy my.
So them things work.
Yeah, bro. It was crazy. Look, the first time we talked, me and him that talked, he was like, "Hey, bro, I got a question."
Okay.
He said, "Man, this ain't no homo." He's like, "Bro, but I know you big, but like, are you straight?" I
Yeah.
said, what you mean she went straight? I said, yeah, I'm good. He said, no, are you down there? Are you like you straight? Basically trying to ask me if my shit was big. I'm like, bro, what you mean? He like, no, ain't no homo, but keeping it a buck with you for what I do for a living. You know what I'm saying? You can be nice, you can be good, but if you ain't working with all the extremities, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In my line of business, like you're not really gonna get paid like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna get booed off the damn stage, right? So let me see.
You know, hey, you for sure don't want to get booed off the stage for sure.
No. So it was crazy, like the way how we had it set up. Like, how can I put it? He backdoored.
Okay.
He took me to New Fine Arts, and he was like, "Bro, I don't know how big what you're working with." He said, "But I'm
Okay.
gonna keep it a buck with you. Like, basically, this is a 12-inch pump." So he was like, "Man, just keeping it buck. Like, do you think?" I said, "Man, I don't even know." He's like, "Bro, so what you got to do is he showed me how to use a penis pump, taught me
Okay.
what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? I got my number one. She physically helped me, you know, work on the penis pump. Now it's crazy if you never use a penis pump to any man.
Never.
You know how sometimes when you're getting ready to handle your business, and depending on who the person is or the circumstances, maybe you might not be 100% up as you would like.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm just gonna keep it a buck. If you 8 inches, 9 times out of 10 using the penis pump, you're probably gonna get to about 10 inches.
Damn.
It helps you get to your highest peak. And the thing about it is we do something called strap up. So once you like, I got a penis pump and I bought something called a cock ring.
Okay.
So
Okay.
basically, the cock ring is once you get it pumped, once you pump that shit, you get it to where you want it at, then you got to use that cock ring to slide down, and you got to wrap it up. You got to wrap your shit. You thinking about it, you got to go out there in front of 100, 200 women and take your clothes off. And unlike female dancers who automatically come out there just pretty much showing their shit, you got to actually do a show.
Man.
And you got to do a show with your dick hard throughout the whole show. You got to show everything, motherfucking. Sometimes they do shows where they just come out with their thong, men come out with the little G string and shit, and the women see the little, see the little package through the G string. But the shows I used to do, nah, they want to see everything. Them motherfuckers come out, they want to see everything, like the whole nine. They want to see dick. They want to see the oil. They won't touch it. They want to come to
Wow.
the stage, pull it out. You gotta show penis. You gotta really show what you're working with.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it was crazy because I'm saying to myself, like, damn, bro, this shit like real, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. But it was crazy because the first show I ever did, a guy actually was trying to he taught me the wrong way on how to it's called strapping up. He
Okay.
taught me the wrong way how to strap, and me being who I am, Mr. Big hands, big everything, I fuck around and strap too damn tight, too damn hard.
Oh damn.
So I ended up literally like I ended up doing my shit wrong, bro. It was just really, really wrong how I did my shit. And God, truth be told, man, I went on stage right when I got ready. I had on all white. When I
Okay.
got ready to unzipping my shit, and I looked down, and when I seen that red, bro, that was it. So,
Damn.
like a bull, bro, I jumped off that damn stage. Women looking at me like, "What's wrong? Like, what you doing? No, baby, come on, take that." Bro, I ran in that back. I started screaming like, "Where you at? Where you at? Where you at?" And I mean, just motherfuckers like, "What you talking about? Calm down, bro. Hold up." Back then I was Baby Hulk.
Okay.
After that show, I never got Baby Hulk ever again. But yeah, I went back there, man. I ended up looking for this dude. Like I said, I didn't backdoor and punched the whole hole. My whole arm went through the wall.
Yeah.
All this right here was in the wall. I think I got banned from that place. They
Yeah.
never told me.
Yeah.
The guy who was throwing the shot, I think it was foreplay. They told him, they're like, yeah, you can't come back. Like he couldn't come back because I was, part of the group, the membership we had. But
Okay.
long story short, bro, that was number one. Number two, had a chick that I was messing with during the time we dancing.
Okay.
Older chick, some really extremely good pussy. Very, very good pussy.
Damn. That wet.
No, I'm gonna tell you what she had.
Okay.
She had that I just got out of a marriage. I was just dealing with my husband. So I ain't been with 80 million motherfuckers, but my pussy's good because it ain't been touched that much.
Okay.
She ain't
Okay.
one of them. It ain't been touched that much.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I can, do it mold and do my thing like I did, not even understanding it at the time. I was like, once again, I was like 22, 23 years old.
Yeah.
But it was crazy because in the process of me dealing with her, she came at me one day. I remember we used to fuck like.
See, I used to go crazy.
Yeah, we used to handle business, you know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
one day she was like, hey, I want to bring you someone, introduce you to my sister.
Okay.
So she brought me to this club. I didn't know the club was a swingers club.
Okay.
Found out it was a swingers club.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sister invited me, a few other ladies she introduced me to, and I'm just meeting these people like, hey, ooh, they're like, ooh, oh, look at you. It's like some meet and greet type shit. I didn't think nothing of it. And then we left from there. She's like, you know what? I need some dick. I'm like, man, I need some pussy. So we stopped in the middle, pulled on side of the street, and right there in the car, just bam.
In a car, crazy.
Yeah, I picked the ass up, put it on top, and just went forward with it. Like, come on, let's roll. Fuck, we can do this right. So we handled the business. And then after we handled the business, I'll never forget she hit me with it. She's like, oh shit, I want to ask you something. I said, whatever you need to ask me now. I'm on some tired. I'm tired now. I don't even want to move right now.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
held it out for at least a good 30 minutes plus, bro.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, man, it was crazy because she hit me with. She said, hey, those ladies I introduced you to tonight? I said, hey, what's up?
Okay.
She said, so basically, I have been telling them about me and you. I'm like, okay, like telling them my personal business. Well, it's my business too, and I just wanted to kind of let them know and enjoying you having a good experience. And she hit me with, she was like, so I was wondering, how would you feel if me, my sister, and the 3 other ladies?
Okay.
I know what you can do to me, but my question is, what could you do to all of us?
Hold on. So she was telling you she wanted to have a whole freak off type situation.
I don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
There's 5 of them and 1 of me, so that's 5 on 1.
Okay.
And she was like, I was wondering if you could handle it, And
yeah.
You the Hulk, and you big 300 pound, and you be tossing my ass. You be doing me. You say, but I was wondering if my sister can get some. And then the trip part. This is the thing. Honestly, I was so young and naive. I probably would have rolled with it.
Yeah. Well, you didn't?
No, I did not roll with it. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. The one thing I fear.
Okay.
One thing I fear is what she hit me with.
Okay.
When I was dancing, I always danced because I the money.
Okay.
I danced because I was taught that as long as you keep that fantasy alive,
okay,
you keep the money rolling.
Okay.
And once again, I didn't get into dancing to really like stay a dance. I just needed money because I own my own tattoo shop.
Okay.
So I was trying to pay them damn bills. Like we had got the shop, got the was approved for the bank loan, all that shit. We got the shop, but you can't make people come to your business.
Right.
So the money ain't coming, but the bills keep coming.
Okay.
So that was a part of outside of being a personal trainer. That was another way how I made ends meet. And I love the money. The fact that I was only in a club for 2 hours, 2 nights a week. So I spent 4 hours in that club, and I probably honestly made over maybe close to $3,000 in 4 hours.
Damn.
4 hours for $3,000. One thing about women, especially back in the day, when they tip, it wasn't the ones you seen tip you in the club. It was the ones you seen outside the club.
Okay.
Just keep in mind, you got women that's gonna come on stage and throw that money.
Just make it rain.
Especially me. I'm 300 pounds, but I can do a split.
Oh,
I'm 300 pounds, but I can pick up motherfuckers, make them 300-400 pounds, make them like a little toy.
Okay.
Same shit I do in the gym. I was doing it on stage, but I also had like basically you had to understand people. I understood when I went in the club the type of music that I had to play because it wasn't about me. Okay. I was playing music for the women. A lot of them young cats, they came in there with all that, Jeezy and Lil Wayne and shit. Yeah. It's like, bro, that's what you listen to.
Yeah.
But if I'm trying to get my money, I gotta put the money where the people that's giving me the money, what they listen to. So I've always been a person that ain't really about me. I want to know what you like, so that way I know I can get what I need.
Okay.
A lot of cats, they do that shit because they want to get not only what they need, but what they want. I just wanted to get what I need. That's why I didn't stay at the club 3-4 nights a week. I got in, made what I needed to make, got back home. So I didn't want to get caught up in no shit. And that's what scared me from that whole thing.
Okay.
When she said, not only did she sit there and tell me, she said, hey, can you handle me, my sister, and the 3 other ladies? But then she said, you know what? We'll pay you.
Hey.
See, that part there just kind of took me somewhere. I'm like, well, let me get this right. I'm fucking you, and we it's a mutual thing. We fucking each other. That's what that is.
Yeah.
But if it get to the point to where you feeling like you and your, like, yo, that's prostitution. Basically, I see it as prostitution.
Yeah, for sure. It technically, yeah, it is.
So it kind of scared. Plus, I thought about the one thing most men don't think about while they're doing all that silly ass shit.
Okay.
I thought about diseases.
Okay. But you could have strapped up.
Bro, let me tell you something. When you
Okay.
young, and you know this, because when you young and you fucking,
Okay.
if you got 5 pussies in your face, you are not gonna keep. You can start off with the first one with a rubber. You are not putting on 5 fucking rubbers. You are not about to take and put on 5 rubbers. There's no. Now come on with the. Remember, on this channel, we're gonna speak the truth.
Nothing but the truth.
If you have 5 women, 5 beautiful women that actually got this shit
right.
from a financial standpoint, 9 times out of 10, ain't no way in human life you lying and telling me. No, you know what the young people say, cap. You ain't capping telling me no damn. Oh, I'm gonna strap up for all 5 of these women.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That's bullshit.
Or because you got to go on and off, on.
Bro,
yeah.
No, not that type of party. And like I said, the part that got me before we even thought about the disease, thought about the fact, I said, damn, bro, I really ain't trying to do this shit for no money. I was doing this shit for what you was doing shit. You horny, I'm horny shit. Instead of playing with your pussy, you can come on, let me go and do what I do, and you can get this shit out the way. You know what I'm saying?
get it done and over with.
I ain't trying to jack off. I did that when I was locked up.
Yeah.
What we can do is we can put our shit together.
Okay.
I'll please you, you please me, and we can keep it moving.
Okay.
But the fact that it got to that point, and that's what just it turned me off from the whole scene. To be honest, after that little situation, I was good.
Man,
extremely good, bro.
Nah, I totally get it. I probably wouldn't have said no. I wouldn't have had the restraint. But hey, I get it. Mm-hmm. But you know, at the same time, you in that lifestyle, so it's women throwing themselves at you all the time anyway. So it's like it's you know, it get to a certain point where it's nothing to say no. You know, because really at the end of the day, you ain't missing out on nothing. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's understandable. You know what I'm saying? And that's a good form of self-control. You know, and that's something that a lot of us men learn later in life, you know, is to have self-control, is to have self-respect and understand that just because she throwing it at you don't mean you gotta hit it. I mean, but probably would. But you should know. I'm not saying that. Yeah, then you end up.
I'll be honest, bro. And this is
yeah.
real shit. I'm only speaking of what I know.
Yeah.
Most of every female that I've dealt with, I've never really had a female where I've actually wanted to have sex with her more than she wanted to have sex with me. Most of the females that I've really met and interacted with in my life, we had the same thing. We didn't know each other. She didn't know what I was working with. I didn't know what she was working with. But when we hooked up, it was a mutual thing. When you can look at motherfucker, and I'm going to see if I can try this while I'm on camera.
Okay.
When I look at motherfucker in the eyes,
okay,
and we get close and we talking. She already know what that is.
Okay.
That's that feeling of if we take it anywhere beyond this point, I'm going to fuck you up.
Yeah.
And I ain't talking about rude, bad. I'm talking about if I can't get you to either squirt, if I can't get your motherfucking ass to cream, if I can't get you to nut, I don't even want to fuck you. I don't want to do. The first thing is before I can even, I should have you wet before I even put my dick in.
Right. That's a fact. That's a fact.
When I was young, I had my daddy for 15 years of my life.
Okay.
And it was crazy. When he taught me about sex, I got taught about sex in the most straight up way I think any young man should definitely get this type of sexual education. My daddy came home. I don't know where he had went, but he came home. He had a paper bag. In the paper bag, he had a box. He pulled the box out, opened the box, it had plastic. Opened the plastic, took the shit, told me, son, take your clothes off.
Okay.
That's my daddy. I just got butt naked. I mean, he used to wash my ass and put me in the tub. So I'm like, it is what it is, right?
Okay.
He took his clothes off. Now, we two naked. I mean, I had to be maybe 12, 13.
Okay.
And he hit me with it. He said, now I'm going to show you something. I noticed that some of your clothes been stuck together.
Oh damn.
He said, you've been having some things going on. He said, I ain't gonna even ask you because I already know what time of day it is, son, but I'm gonna teach you something.
Yeah.
Now that you're on that level, you're getting to that level,
Okay.
I'm gonna show you something. And he said this. He took that piece of plastic and he blew it.
Okay. Okay.
And it's crazy. This big ass piece of plastic started looking like a woman. And I was like, what the hell is not? I didn't realize what it was. One of them blow up Belinda dolls.
Oh wow.
Like one of them damn blow up
doll?
Blow up Belinda.
Okay. Okay.
And it blew up the shit, and there was this plastic woman. And basically, he was telling me, he said, "Now I know when you go to school and you see some things, especially out of them girls, what do you like? Just look at on a woman." And I said, "Man, I ain't gonna lie, I like booty."
Okay.
He said, "Oh, see, you're a booty guy." He said, "Some guys like breasts, some guys like legs, some guys like smiles and all that." He said, "I like the smile. I said, I like face, and I like booty." Okay. He said, "So they don't have to. I said, they don't have to have no titties. You can have titties or not. It don't really matter to me. Your legs can be decent. That's fine. But if you got a big ass booty and a pretty face, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, right?
Merry Christmas."
So he blew that damn doll up. He said something today. I'm gonna teach you three things. I'm gonna teach you how to have sex.
Okay.
I'm gonna teach you how to fuck.
Okay.
And I'm gonna teach you how to make love. How to have sex, how to fuck, and how to make love. Bro, it was crazy because everything he taught me, it was crazy. Like I said, my father left this earth when I was 15 years old.
Okay.
And it's crazy. Everything he taught me over before I was 15, I experienced ever since then.
Okay.
I met them that were like literally old enough to be my mom that were looking at me like, you can't be in your early, you cannot be 21. You cannot be 20 years old. The way how you are literally fucking me, the experience that you should not have at this early of an age. Not realizing that everything. Yeah. My daddy taught me how to everything, how to finger, how to go up there. Taught me about the G spot.
Okay.
Taught me how to eat pussy. You know what I'm saying? I mean everything. How you do this, you do that, you take it this way, you chew, you suck, you lick, you take your motherfucking head and put your motherfucking whole face in that shit and try to make your tongue out of a penis and going. I mean, all kind of shit. Like literally taught me every. So when I got to these females, when I got on stage and I started doing shit, they was like, "How old is he? Like he what? He 20 who?" Yeah. But like I said, it was a blessing because once again, I had somebody lead by example. Because believe it or not, my dad was actually a stripper.
Okay.
Daddy was a stripper back in the day. Anybody from New Orleans, if you know my dad, if you know any of the strippers, I'm gonna say two names. If you know one of these two names, then that was my dad. If you know a cat named Brady Red from New Orleans, a stripper named Brady Red, old school stripper, and the other one name was Beefmaster.
Beastmaster. Okay.
Beefmaster. Beef. Like
where's the beef?
Where's the beef? Beefmaster.
Yeah.
That was my pops.
Okay. The beef master. Shoot, man, that's. I think like if I had a stripper, my stripper name would probably be like Teaspoon.
Well, the fact that you call yourself Teaspoon, it probably would be your name.
My stripper name would be Teaspoon. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
You'll say
hey, look, when you get your medicine, they always do it in teaspoons. So hey, I'm the teaspoon. I'm gonna give you your medicine in small doses, but it's still gonna be good for you. You just get it in small doses, man. My stripper name would be coming to the stage as Teaspoon. You know, plus I am kind of tall and slim, so you know what I'm saying, that'll be my stage name, Teaspoon. But yeah, buddy. But Smash, yo, this is our first go round. I'm gonna call this the Hogue Banner pilot. This is the pilot show. You know, they say usually when you do stuff like this, it's probably gonna take a good 20, 30 of them to really hit your.
I'm gonna cut you short.
Okay.
So just for the people who watching this right now, we just breaking the mold.
Okay.
This is just taking the ice out. We ain't even touching the ice. We just taking it out the freezer.
Okay.
So this show would, and this show that we gonna do in this podcast.
Okay.
There will be no opinions. It will be strictly off testimonies. It will be strictly off people speaking of their truth. You know, I'm not talking about nothing that's going on in the world. I don't have an opinion about nothing that's going on in the world. If I haven't experienced it and if I don't know it, I'm not gonna speak it.
Okay.
Anybody that want to call in, anybody that want to join in, and basically, give their opinion. I mean, give their testimony, give their story on their life. You're more than welcome to. But at the
Okay.
same time, if you call and ask me how I feel about somebody else's life or what they got going on, I'm not for that.
Okay.
This podcast is strictly for people who want to speak their truth and
Okay.
who want to be heard and understood for their truth. Nothing else. Nothing. You can go on any other show. They're gonna talk about what's hot and what's not. This show is gonna be strictly about getting away and getting real. I had a friend. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna share this. I had a female friend of mine say, "Why you don't go on vacation?"
Okay.
And I said, "Well, I don't have no knock against it." She said, "But why don't you go? You've been working. You're a baby girl. You take care of your daughter. Understand she's special needs, but don't you deserve a break?"
Yeah.
I said, "I probably do." And she said, "Well, why don't you take it?" I said, "Well, this is how I feel. I don't do vacations and I don't do the trips and all that shit because of the fact I feel I don't lie. I don't smoke.
Okay.
I don't drink. I don't like a high, which means if I'm gonna leave some shit, go out there and have a good time, then come back to some shit, I'm straight. I don't need to do that. I would rather, me, my personal opinion, I would rather have my shit together, do what I need to do first. That way I know if I'm leaving heaven and I'm going to purgatory, at least I come back to heaven.
Okay.
I'm perfect looking. That's just me. Like I said, other people have their reasons, but I don't do that because one, like I said, my daughter's currently she's in the hospital.
Okay.
From a financial standpoint, I still have a lot of things that I feel like God needs me to do with my life that I'm obligated to do for my family. So 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna take care of my business first.
Okay.
And I want to have, I'm starting me and shout out to my, my other person, the great and powerful, Mrs. You Win. Perfect.
Perfect.
That is the best family you could ever have. She is
okay.
That's my girl. But we coming out with the logistics, Hulk's logistics, She-Hulk, and the Hulk logistics, the whole nine. But even with us, even with that circumstance, we understand we have to do everything. We want to do everything we want to do now. So that way when we do stop and we do take that break, we know what we're coming back to.
Okay.
Never want to leave a shithole and then go to a perfect fucking island to come back to a shit.
Right.
And that's just my way of thinking. I could be wrong, I could be right, but that's my right.
Hey, and there you have it. Hope. I'm Banner. I'm David Banner. I'm Little Bitty. This the Hope. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I look like when I'm not there. See, I ain't take the hat off. So y'all ain't
see.
Yeah,
I'm David Banner.
You see? There you go.
There you go. And if y'all don't know who the Hulk is, hey, Google him, YouTube him.
Make sure when you type in the Hulk, type in DA space HULK, the Hulk.
The Hulk,
not THE.
Okay.
Because that's Disney. I don't want no trouble with Disney.
The Hulk.
Dallas Hulk, the Hulk. Check it out.
And the cool reviews. Hey, this is the first of many. Yo, we're going to have guests. We're going to keep it real. Yep. We're going to have a good time. Yo. Hey.
Hey.
And we out.